Welcome to the Ninja 1 to 80 Skills Guide. In this guide we will cover all of your skills as you train to summon bunnies better than the rest of them, but also hopefully kill your enemies along the way. Watch as you go from this to this. This guide is framed in the mindset of players completely new to Final Fantasy XIV, or the MMO genre in general. In that same vein, this will merely be an overview of the actions and how to use them. Optimal rotations are better left to their own in-depth videos just due to how much complexity is involved in perfect openers and overall rotation. We will, however, be crafting rotations as we go to help new players understand what goes through creating openers and give them a foothold to push themselves into being able to do it on their own. The goal is to draw players in on the ground level so they can make strides to improve themselves. All tooltips will be shown at the level cap for each section. Level 50 for Aroma Born, level 60 for Heavensward, 70 for Stormblood, and then finally at level 80 for Shadowbringers. I also recommend all players add Sprint and Limit Break to their hotbars, both found in the General tab of your Actions menu. And as for how my hotbars build, it'll make sense at 80. Just put skills on your hotbars in a way you feel comfortable using as you're leveling. Everyone has their own way of doing things. With that all out of the way, let's begin. Level 1, Spinning Edge. For the next 4 levels, this is your basic global weapon skill. A simple 220 potency attack. Just keep using it until your enemies are dead. Level 2, Shade Shift. This is a defensive skill. On a cooldown of 120 seconds, you have a shield of 20% of your max HP. If not broken by enemy damage, it wears off after 20 seconds. This is good for solo play or for when you think you're about to make a mistake in a dungeon and take avoidable damage. Or for raid-wide unavoidable damage. Basically, use this anytime you can prevent damage. Level 4, Gust Slash. Your second global attack, 100 potency or 330 when comboed after Spinning Edge. The game has quickly introduced you to the idea of combo actions. Combo actions are displayed by a glowing border like so. You want to always complete combos where possible. So now for the next 20 or so levels you want to repeatedly do the following: Spinning Edge, Gust Slash, and then repeat until all the enemies are dead. Because of the importance of combos, I will no longer be mentioning the uncomboed potency of combo skills. Always aim to hit the combo. At level 8, we gain the roll action Second Wind. I won't be talking about roll actions in detail, but I will mention when they are gained. Make room on your hotbars, for these are very useful skills to lesser or greater extent. We also get Leg Sweep at level 10. Level 10, Hide. This is an odd one, but extremely useful in the right contexts. You become invisible to all enemies within 10 levels of you, and all enemies below your level, meaning you can't be seen. Other than special enemies, enemies within this range will not be able to aggro to you. However, you move at a snail's pace. The effect ends upon using almost any of your actions. Other than for class quests, this isn't too useful in the overworld for now, and it cannot be used in battle, so no using it to escape a fight. Once more enemies have aggro, you might want to start using it to sneak around. At level 12, we gain the roll action, Bloodbath. Level 14, All Fours. This is your first trait, or a passive ability. All it does is reduce fall damage, which is only lethal in combat. You shouldn't be taking fall damage in battle at all, so this won't see much of an effect. If you think it's safe to jump down a cliff, it probably isn't. Level 15, Throwing Dagger. This skill is gained from your class quests. Not only do class quests give gear, but you sometimes gain entire skills. If you hit the level requirement for a skill and don't automatically obtain it, this is why. From now on, I will only indicate on screen if a skill is a class or job quest. Just be sure to keep up with those. As for the skill itself, it does a weak 120 potency from a distance. This is your first ranged skill. A common mistake new players do is using this skill too much. Not only is it weak, but it also breaks combos. It also means you're not in melee range, which is where you want to always be as a melee job. Sometimes you will have no choice but to move out of range of enemies and you will use this, but usually you'll be mid-combo and not want to drop it. The main use of this skill will be in the overworld, to leash enemies away from others so you can take them out one at a time. Level 15, Mug. This is your first off-global ability. It has 150 potency and is on a 120-second recast. Seems weak, but the powerful part about it is its free damage. You can use this between weapon skills or weave it with no interruption to your global cooldown. So we will Spinning Edge, Mug, and then Gust Slash with no time lost between skills. Use this on cooldown. And the extra loot effect? Don't bother, retainers are better and faster. Level 18, Trick Attack. This is another weird one, and it ties into Hide. On a 60-second recast, you can do a 350 potency or 500 potency from the enemy's rear attack. This is the first instance of a positional for ninja. Positionals gain extra damage or effects for hitting the enemy from a specific place. A rear positional is this red area in the diagram shown. There are two additional notes to this skill. The first is the additional effect of increasing the damage the enemy takes by 5%. This sounds small, but it's a lot stronger than it sounds. The other is a bit of an issue. You can only use this skill under the effects of Hide. As we discussed, Hide cannot be used in battle. You don't really want to be using Hide in dungeons too much, as you won't be attacking enemies and moving too slow if the tank moves them away from you. It is possible to use it, but it's typically not worth it. For a while, your only use for Trick Attack is in the overworld. Get behind an enemy, hide, and then Trick Attack to do big damage on your first hit, and do 5% damage up. Level 20, Fleet of Foot. This trait increases your move speed by about 5%. That's it. At level 22, we gain the roll action Feint. Level 26, Aeolian Edge. It took a while, but we finally got the third hit of our combo. Aeolian Edge is 420 potency when comboed off of Gust Slash, or 480 when used at the enemy's rear. That is 2 rear positional skills obtained in a row. So now we can just extend our normal attack pattern to add in Aeolian Edge. Spinning Edge, Mug, Gust Slash, Aeolian Edge, and repeat until everything is dead. Level 30, Shadow Fang. So this is both a weapon skill that activates the global cooldown, and has a 70-second recast. It does 200 potency on hit, and puts a 30-second damage over time effect, or dot, on the enemy. Each tick of the dot does 90 potency. A dot will do damage every 3 seconds based on server ticks, so it will do 10 ticks of damage. That is a 900 potency dot, and in total the attack does 1100 potency. This is huge damage if the dot has its whole duration. Even if it doesn't, only a few ticks of the dot is enough to make this do more than even Aeolian Edge. Use this on big enemies with lots of health, especially bosses. And as a side note, despite this being a weapon skill, it will not break any combos you have going. At level 30, you will be able to undertake your first job quest to obtain a soul stone, as well as your first job action. You must also complete all class quests from your guild. The other requirement is the level 20 main story quest, Sylph Management. This takes place soon after joining a grand company. This won't be an issue on normal servers, but any server with the preferred status and the road to 70 buff will likely lead new players to be 30 long before this story threshold is met. And now let me preemptively apologize for any mispronunciations of skill names. Level 30, Ninjutsu and Ten. This is the first piece of Ninja's main gimmick. Let's start with Ten. Ten is on a 20-second recharge. This is a skill that can have multiple charges. The number of charges is displayed in the bottom right corner of the skill. It triggers the global cooldown for half a second, which is really quick. 10 will give you a 6-second buff called Mudra. Using any other skill after gaining Mudra will cause Mudra to fail. You may otherwise also use 10 multiple times in a row, also causing Mudra to fail. By itself, that is all it does. Triggers global cooldown and gives the Mudra buff on first use. Now let's look at how this interacts with ninjutsu. By itself, ninjutsu is grayed out and does nothing. What it does is execute a specific ninjutsu based on the mudra used before it. We'll get more, but right now we only have 10. So let's try the following. Use 10, then look at ninjutsu. Our ninjutsu button has changed. It is now bright and changed to a different icon. Using 10 or any other action again will cause it to change again to a fail state. Now try using 10, then using the skill ninjutsu becomes, which is Fuma Shuriken. This is a ranged attack with a potency of 500. The mudra combination is one single mudra sign. It will trigger a 1.5 second global cooldown, as will all ninjutsu. So now anytime the mudra cooldown is finished, we will use 10, and then immediately use Fuma Shuriken. Let's also talk about the failed state. Using 10 twice in a row, or 10 and then any other action will turn ninjutsu into the failed state of Rabbit Medium. This summons a rabbit on your head. This is the highest DPS skill ever. Because it is cute, it will inspire allies to do infinite damage. Not really. As said, this is a failed state. This is called bunnying, and bunnying is a really bad thing to do as a ninja. You don't want to see your bunny in a fight. One final note is Hide. It now has an additional effect. Using it outside of battle will reset mudra recharge timers and restore all charges. So if mudra is still on cooldown when about to begin a fight, you can hide and then hit 10 to cancel the hide and prepare your Fuma Shuriken, or any other ninjutsu later on, with a second ready to use immediately after. We'll see this put to the test soon. Before moving on, let's build a small opener. At this point we don't have much, but later on we build up into very fast and big openers. For ninja, we want to do the following. As we're getting ready to pull, use hide to reset mudra, then 10 Fuma Shuriken, Shadow Fang, Mug, 10, Fuma Shuriken, Spinning Edge, Gust Slash, Aeolian Edge, and then repeat our combo over and over. This gets all of our attack cooldowns running, so we can use them again sooner, before defaulting to our combo attack. We front load our strongest attacks first to do big damage quickly. And the quicker we do big damage, the quicker we can do it again. At level 32, we gain the roll action, Arm's Length. Level 35, Mudra Sign, Chi. This is our second mudra. Just like 10, using Chi and then ninjutsu, we'll use Fuma Shuriken. However, with 2 mudra, we can now do mudra combos. Our first combo is 10 Chi, allowing us to use Raiton, an 800 potency ranged attack. This is far better than Fuma Shuriken. This basically replaces it entirely. I don't think there is any situation where you would use Fuma Shuriken instead of Raiton. Our second combo is the reverse, Chi 10. This gives us Katan, a ranged area of effect attack for 500 potency. This is the same power as Fuma Shuriken, but hits multiple enemies within a 5 yalm radius of the initial target. On 2 enemies, this is 200 potency higher than Raiton, so in any situation with multiple enemies, Katan is your go-to ninjutsu. So now in our opener, just replace Fuma Shuriken with Raiton in all instances. Level 38, Death Blossom. This is our final rogue skill, a 5 yalm global AoE for 120 potency on all nearby enemies. The radius is 5 yalms. On 3 or more enemies, you want to start using this. It might not seem like it's that strong, but remember that it hits every enemy in range, so while 3 is when you start using it, any bigger enemy packs just means it does even more damage. Just be sure to use Katan first, as ninjutsu is far stronger thanks to the cooldown. Level 40, Shukuchi. This is a utility skill. On a 60-second cooldown, you can move extremely quickly to a specified location within 20 yalms. Using this skill will activate a ground targeting mode where you must click the ground to choose where you teleport to. For controller players, you choose your spot with the camera using the middle of the screen. This can be changed, but it is the middle by default. This can be used as an emergency escape from an AoE you would have failed to dodge. It's difficult to use though, so don't feel bad if you have trouble getting it to be useful. Otherwise, you could just use it for the quick movement. Level 45, Mudra Sign, Jin. Our final Mudra, and this one makes things extremely complex, so let's take it one step at a time. By itself, any one of your Mudra will be able to use Fuma Shuriken. Let's go over the combos of 2 Mudra involving Jin. Ten Jin or Chi Jin. If Jin is your second sign, you are guaranteed to get Hyoton, a 400 potency bind effect for 15 seconds. A bind will be broken if the enemy takes any further damage. This ninjutsu is pretty worthless. Ignore it for now. Jin Chi. Much like Ten Chi, this is Raiton. The second Mudra is what is deciding what the final result is. Summarily, Jin Ten is the same as Chi Ten, giving us Katan. Because Hyoton is worthless and is the only new Mudra on 2-button combos, we can ignore Jin for 2-button ninjutsu to make it easier to memorize. For now. We'll be seeing it later in Ninja's Toolkit. I must stress that, while it is a lot to take in now, you will want to come back to Hyoton and memorize its existence at some point. If not now while it is useless, be prepared to come back to it later. Take your pick, now or later. Here's where things get messy though. Our 3 Mudra ninjutsu are all new. Jin, Chi, Ten, or Chi, Jin, Ten. As before, the third Mudra is what decides what the final result is. If your third Mudra is 10, we get Huton. This is a buff that lasts for 70 seconds and boosts your attack speed by 15%. This is a huge boost. From this point forward, if you're not under the effect of Huton, you are losing a ton of damage. It's so important, you even have a new UI element for it. You will live and breathe by this pinwheel. Ten Jin Chi or Jin Ten Chi. If Chi is your third Mudra, you get Doton, a 5-yalm radius AoE you place on the ground for 24 seconds. Every tick the enemy is inside will do 100 potency per enemy. Because it lasts 24 seconds, it does 8 ticks of damage for a total of 800 potency total. This is the same amount as Raiton if you get all 8 ticks. This makes it ideal for use on 2 or more enemies, if the enemies will live for the entire duration at least. They also must remain within the Doton circle. That is the big downside of this skill. The tank in charge must keep enemies inside of the circle. The heavy effect helps with that, but it's not all that important of an effect. Be sure the tank is done moving when you place down your Doton, and hope they don't pull the enemies out afterwards. If it won't get most of its duration, don't bother and just use Katan. Ten Chi Jin or Chi Ten Jin. If Jin is your third Mudra, you get Suiton, which complicates things by a lot. First, it deals 600 potency, but you also gain the effect of Suiton for 20 seconds. Suiton acts as a replacement for the hidden effect of Hide. Trick Attack is now back. Essentially, this is your Trick Attack Mudra. Because Trick Attack is an off-global, this essentially makes Suiton 1100 total potency, plus the 5% damage up for 15 seconds. Now you can actually use Trick Attack in dungeons, and it is Ninja's main utility. People love Trick Attack, so be sure to get it out on bosses. One final note is all other combinations of Mudra. Using the same Mudra twice or more in a combo will cause a failure. This is back when we learned 10, I showed off the bunny. Never use the same Mudra twice in a single combo. Level 50, Kassatsu. This ability is on a 60-second cooldown. Using this will grant you Kassatsu for 15 seconds and has 3 effects. The first is simple, your next ninjutsu will do 30% extra damage. The second is you're able to use a single ninjutsu at no cost to Mudra charges. So even if you have a charge available, it will not be spent at all. The third and final effect is that the recast timer of Mudra is not affected by this at all. So not only does it not spend a charge, it does not halt the recharge of more charges. Watch, I shall spend both of my Mudra, then cast Kassatsu. The icons have changed so that I have no recharge circle and no charge count. Upon expending Kassatsu, we see we now have a charge available. So let's put all this into practice with a new opener. Things have changed quite a lot since level 30. Pre-pull, Jin, Chi, Ten, Hutan, Hide to reset Muja charges. Ten, Chi, Jin, and use Suiton on pull. Then do the following. Spinning Edge, Kassatsu, Gust Slash, Trick Attack, Aeolian Edge, Mug, Shadow Fang, Ten, Chi, Raiton, Ten, Chi, Raiton, Spinning Edge, Gust Slash, Ten, Chi, Raiton, Aeolian Edge, and then repeat your GCD combo repeatedly. Let's go over why we do things in this order. Hutan itself offers no damage, so using it before we engage enemies and then resetting our Mudra with Hide is ideal to get both it and our damaging Mudra out. We then use Suiton on pull to be able to use Trick Attack in a few GCDs. Spinning Edge is next into Kassatsu. Because it lasts for 15 seconds, we can use it early like this, even though we won't use the ninjutsu it buffs for a bit. We then continue our combo with Gust Slash and use Trick Attack in between GCDs. This buffs Aeolian Edge, which is our strongest GCD of the combo. At this point, we want to dump all of our powerful skills within the 15 seconds of Trick Attack to buff them. So Aeolian leads into Weaving Mug, then Shadow Fang. We finally use our Kassatsu charge then for Raiton, into another Raiton. Our next Mudra is still on cooldown, so we need to bide time. So we move into 2 more GCDs since we are left with no other abilities to use. After 2 GCDs, Spinning Edge and Gust Slash, our third Mudra should be ready, and we could just barely fit it into Trick Attack before it ends. Don't be too upset if you can't, it will come with practice. That, or your ping might be holding you back, which is felt on Ninja more than many other jobs due to the speed and tight timings of the job. With that, I hope our Realm Reborn rotation makes sense. Be sure to refresh Hutan when it's close to falling off, and use Suiton anytime Trick Attack is ready. At level 50, we gain our final roll action, True North. With that, we have all of our Realm Reborn skills. Continue to progress the story and make it to Heavensward, where you will start getting new quests to gain more of your skill set. Level 52, Hakke Mujinsatsu. This is another AoE skill. It combos off of Death Blossom for 140 potency and has a special effect, extending the duration of Hutan by 10 seconds. This means once you have Hutan on, if you continuously are able to use AoE, it will never fall off. Now don't think this means you can use AoE on single targets. You still want to only use your Death Blossom combo on 3+ targets, AoE Mudra on 2 or more. This just makes it far more effective to do all this. Level 54, Armor Crush. Armor Crush is the third hit of our combo branching off of Gust Slash for 400 potency, or 460 potency from the flank. The flank is the red portions of the diagram here. Now we have 2 different attacks that combo off of Gust Slash. Armor Crush is slightly weaker than Aeolian Edge, however. Instead, much like Hakke Mujinsatsu, it adds time to Hutan, 30 seconds in this case. So in a normal situation, you will use Aeolian Edge combo repeatedly until you get below 40 seconds on your Hutan timer, then use Armor Crush combo once to refresh Hutan. Try not to overcap your timer, as the max is always 70 seconds. Level 56, Dream Within a Dream. This is a simple one, your next off-global ability. A 60-second cooldown for 3 hits of 200 potency each, for a total of 600 potency. Because both are on a 60-second cooldown, you can use this within Trick Attack every time. Otherwise, just use it on cooldown. Level 60, Assassinate. Skipping level 58, you have a 200 potency guaranteed critical direct hit, which is about an 80% damage increase, so 360 potency in theory. The problem is it can't be used unless Assassinate ready. How do you get that? Well, let's go back to Dream Within a Dream. Dream Within a Dream now has the additional effect of giving us Assassinate ready. So that means every time we use Dream Within a Dream, we can use Assassination. One other problem is that Assassinate has a very long animation lock. Be careful not to use it when a boss is about to use an AoE. So overall, this doesn't change much in our opener. 2 new abilities to fit in, and we have exactly that many open slots in our level 50 rotation. Here is our level 50 rotation. Notice here where we have no off-globals used between Spinning, Gust, and our final ninjutsu? Well, we can just fit them in here. Spinning Slash, Dream Within a Dream, Gust Slash, Assassinate, Ten Chi Raiton. This should still all fit within Trick Attack if properly executed and no ping issues. For the most part, this was a quality of life skill set to make Huton easier to use. Level 62, Shukiho. With this trait comes with a new UI element, the Ninki gauge. All of your weapon skills now give 5 Ninki for executing them, so that includes Spinning Edge, Gust Slash, Aeolian Edge, Armor Crush, Shadow Fang, Death Blossom, and Hakke Mujinsatsu. The max is 100 Ninki. Try not to cap or you will lose Ninki and possibly entire uses of skills. So what do we use all this on? Well, level 62, Hellfrog Medium. A 200 potency off-global attack that does 200 potency to all enemies around the initial target. This is used in both single and AoE situations. You won't be seeing this too often since Ninki gains are very low. 5 Ninki means 10 global cooldowns before you get a single use. And because ninjutsu do not gain Ninki, this delays how long until you finally can see Hellfrog Medium come out. And while I do say it can be used in single target, try to save it for AoE. If you're not in any danger of capping your Ninki, you can hold on to it. But don't be afraid of using it within Trick Attack either. Level 64, Enhanced Shukuchi. This trait is kinda bad. It resets the recast timer for Shukuchi for using Raiton, Katon, or Hyoton, all 2-step ninjutsu. There's few, if any, situations where you will end up using Shukuchi, then a 2-step mudra, then Shukuchi again within that time. I'm sure they do exist, especially on the high level, but that is very rare. Level 66, Enhanced Mug. This trait is a huge buff to Mug. Upon hit, you gain 40 Ninki. Very simple, but means more Ninki attacks. Even more important when considering our next skill. Level 68, Bhavacakra. This is our true single-target Ninki spender. 300 potency at the cost of 50 Ninki, just like Hellfrog Medium. It also shares a recast timer with Hellfrog Medium, but that's more formality than anything. Hellfrog is still better on as few as 2 targets, so use this only when there is exactly only 1 enemy. Level 70, Ten Chi Jin, and I will from now on refer to this as TCJ for clarity. This clarity is because it shares the name of all 3 of your mudra. On a 120 second cooldown, for 6 seconds you are able to input a ninjutsu combo and use every skill along the way without pressing the ninjutsu button. So when we do Ten Chi Jin, we can only use Suiton. In TCJ, we can use Fuma Shuriken, Raiton, and Suiton all in a row. This may be confusing, so let's take it step by step. Here I will use TCJ, and my mudra will change into the ninjutsu the combo corresponds to. All other skills will gray out to prevent bunnying. So all 3 mudra are Fuma Shuriken, since one single mudra will always be Fuma Shuriken. Let's start with 10. Pressing 10 will execute Fuma instead of the sign, and then 10 will be grayed out. This way we cannot bunny by pressing 10 again. Now Chi and Jin have changed to Raiton and Hyoton respectively. Pressing Chi will now execute Raiton and gray it out to prevent bunnying. Jin will then turn into Suiton. Upon pressing Jin, Suiton will activate. Try this skill out a couple times for yourself on a striking dummy. This is your hint to try and better memorize your mudra combinations if you haven't already. To make it a bit easier though, Ten Chi Jin, the name of the skill, will also be the best mudra pattern for single target. Jin Ten Chi is the best combination for AoE, executing both Katon and Doton along the way. Some important notes on top of all of this: moving after executing TCJ will entirely cancel the skill. Be sure you are ready to commit to the roughly 2 seconds you will be stuck standing still, or you will lose the skill. Another note is that while under the effects of Kassatsu, you cannot use TCJ at all, because both overwrite Mudra in some way. Being able to use both at once would cause some issues. Especially since, like Kassatsu, TCJ does not expend a Mudra charge. So now with our Stormblood skill set, our opener has changed a little bit again. Pre-pull Jin, Chi, Ten, Huton, Hide to reset Mudra charges. Ten, Chi, Jin, and use Suiton on pull, then do the following. Spinning Edge, Kassatsu, Gust Slash, Trick Attack, Aeolian Edge, Mug, Shadow Fang, Dream Within a Dream, Ten Chi, Raiton, Bhavacakra, Ten Chi, Raiton, TCJ, Ten as Fuma Shuriken, Chi as Raiton, Jin as Suiton, Ten Chi, Raiton, Assassination, and then use your main GCD combo over and over, weaving in Bhavacakras when you have enough Ninki. With absolutely perfect play, everything from Trick Attack until the Assassination will be boosted by Trick Attack. This is the simplest rotation I could come up with that still makes good use of everything within Trick Attack. And if you think this is very busy, just wait for what's to come. Level 72, Meisui. This is a really nice skill. On a 120-second recast, you can trash your Suiton buff for 50 Ninki. Why would you want to do that when you want to use Trick Attack? Well, let's look back at the opener I just discussed for level 70. We use Suiton pre-pull to use Trick Attack, but then again during TCJ. We can't do anything with this second Suiton buff, but now we can. Since both TCJ and Meisui are on the same 120-second cooldown, we can use Suiton, Trick Attack, TCJ, and end with Suiton to use Meisui every single time. If for some reason we have Meisui available when TCJ is not, don't go out of your way to use it. Keep it around for the next double Suiton section you have. Or if you are familiar with a dungeon, you can Suiton at the end of a trash pull, Suiton the enemy just before it dies, Meisui, and then have a Hellfrog Medium available for the next set of enemies for big AoE damage. Be sure you are confident in your decision though, just because next time you have TCJ, you won't have it available. Level 74, Enhanced Shukuchi II. This trait turns Shukuchi into a skill with charges, with a maximum of 2 charges. This makes the previous Enhanced Shukuchi even worse just by existing. Not only will you almost never need 2 Shukuchis in a row, needing 3 in a row is even worse. At that point, you'll probably just trigger Enhanced Shukuchi 1 by accident. Level 76, Enhanced Kassatsu. So this one is extremely special. Enhanced Kassatsu adds an additional effect to Kassatsu. This effect is buffing Katan and Hyoton into 2 new skills when used under Kassatsu. Let's start with Katan. Kassatsu Enhanced Chi 10 or Jin 10. Goka Mekyaku. This buffs Katan to a whopping 750 potency to target and enemies within 5 yalms. This is almost the power of Raiton, only deals 50 potency under it. So when it comes to AoE, you're basically using a Raiton on every enemy in the range of the main target. If you weren't using Kassatsu for free AoE before, you sure will be now. However, before you were probably using it on Doton because of the extra 30% damage. At this point, it's better to use a normal Doton and a Kassatsu Enhanced Katan to get Goka Mekyaku. Now let's talk about Hyoton. Kassatsu Enhanced Ten Jin or Chi Jin. Hyosho Ranryu. Single target ranged attack for 1200 potency. That isn't a mistake in the tooltip. This is a Raiton and a half in potency, and keep in mind, every other Kassatsu will ideally be under Trick Attack, meaning this is buffed by the 5% increase on top of the 30% increase of Kassatsu, as well as any other party buffs. An additional note, these do not trigger Enhanced Shukuchi 1, so if for whatever reason you were counting on a 3rd Shukuchi cast and just used Kassatsu, don't. So summarily, use Kassatsu on these two skills and no others. Level 78, Shukiho II. Does what it says on the tin. It's a very small Ninki boost, but an extra 5 Ninki on Shadow Fang, Armor Crush, and Aeolian Edge for a total of 10 each attack. Level 80, Bunshin. Unfortunately, this has nothing to do with the Bunny Ninjutsu. On a 90-second cooldown and at the cost of 50 Ninki, we summon a Shadow Clone that will attack anytime we use a weapon skill, for 5 weapon skills. You have 30 seconds to make use of all 5 of those weapon skills, which is plenty of time. Each weapon skill will do damage based on the type of skill, and give you 5 Ninki no matter which type of weapon skill, refunding half the cost in itself. If it is a melee attack, it will do 200 potency to the same target as you. If it is a ranged attack, it will do 100 potency to the target. And if it is your AoE, it will do 100 potency to all targets in range. Or it can glitch like I have in this clip. Don't worry, that's rare. Use this whenever it's off cooldown. You won't be able to line this up with everything at once except for very deep into a fight. So with 2.5 new skills to fit into our opener, let's fit them in. Pre-pull, Jin, Chi, Ten, Futon, and Hide to reset the Mudra. Ten, Chi, Jin, and use Suiton on pull, then do the following. Spinning Edge, Kassatsu, Gust Slash, Mug, Bunshin, Aeolian Edge, Spinning Edge, Trick Attack, Shadow Fang, Dream Within a Dream, Ten, Jin, Hyosho Ranryu, Assassinate, Ten, Chi, Raiton, TCJ, Ten as Fuma, Chi as Raiton, Jin as Suiton, Meisui, Gust Slash, Bhavacakra, Aeolian Edge, Bhavacakra, Ten, Chi, Raiton, and then repeat your GCD combos. So at the end of this new opener, Trick Attack will end on the second Bhavacakra. 2 Bhavacakras and an Aeolian Edge inside of Trick is slightly stronger than fitting in the final Raiton. We're able to achieve this thanks to Shukiho II and Bunshin, while still getting in all of our strongest attacks under Trick. We lost Mug inside of Trick, but it's more than made up for with the Bunshin's damage being boosted. Again, don't be discouraged if you can't fit that second Bhavacakra in. It's a lot to do with a job that plays very fast. Even after the 5.1 ninja changes, this job is still very busy. Thank you for watching my Ninja 1 to 80 skills guide. Feel free to give feedback or ask questions on what might still be confusing to you. My goal is to help players improve in whatever ways I can. Take care, and have fun in your adventures across Eorzea. May the power of an Nidhogg lay waste to your enemies.